All right, we're good?
Yeah, all right, guys, make sure we stay tight, don't fray us or still in the picture. All right, whenever you're ready.
Hi, we are CareCase. I'm Sarah Cohen.
I'm Kyle Vasquez.
Braden Albertson.
I'm Brianna Beruden.
This is Johnny Parker. Johnny Parker is a 7-year-old boy that lives outside of Indianapolis, Indiana, and he's your typical kid. He plays Little League Baseball, he gets good grades in school, and he goes on play dates with his friend. One day, his mom woke him up to get him ready for school, and he was acting a little funny. All of a sudden, he passed out. His mom was very concerned. They rushed him to the hospital, and after a long day of extensive tests, they found out that he had stage 2 brain cancer. 43 children a day are like Johnny and are diagnosed with brain cancer. And because of Johnny's situation, his mom had just lost his job. His dad worked part-time to stay at home to raise Johnny. They did not have the funds they needed to allocate towards the surgery that Johnny needed to survive. Out of these 43 children, a lot of those families are faced with similar situations and don't have the funds they need to save their child's life. Johnny's family turned to the American Cancer Society for funding they needed so he could survive. The funding was allocated, and he was able to get the surgery he needed, and he was able to live. If no one donates, these charities cannot provide the funding that these families need. As of right now, donating is very complicated to do. So what we're doing is we're making it an easier process to help ensure that kids like Johnny have the chance to live and that their families can provide the surgery that these kids need.
And since nowadays everybody has access to their own cell phone, that makes purchasing a phone case necessary as well. And we are making it easy for people to not go out of their way to go donate, which most people don't do. And we're giving people a way to make an everyday purchase more heartfelt and giving their money more of a meaning and an opportunity to those who are affected. And this is Teespring. It's the website we will be using to manufacture and upload the art onto the cases. And we're looking for art from anyone who's looking to tell their story and wants to submit art to us for people to connect more to the phone case and hopefully donate to the cause. And we are currently in the process of creating our website, which will tell people a little bit about our company, what we're here for, and we'll have a hyperlink straight to the Teespring website, which is where people can purchase the case, and then we'll do the rest of the donations for them. And this is a sample of what our submit artwork form will look like, which is where people can just go read a little bit about what we're trying to do and see if they'd be interested in sharing their story and trying to help us out in our mission to help these charities.
So for the beginning of our company, we are planning on staying local. The reason why we chose to do that is because we want more of a heartfelt situation where the people of Barrington can connect with the patients or with the people that are suffering from these diseases and diagnoses. We have decided to go with moms between the age of 30 and 40. We decided that because we think that moms kind of have that little heart sensation for their children and child. Also, we were asked in the beginning if Johnny, let's say, was struggling and we needed to sell one phone case to save his life, who would we go to? And we chose these moms. These moms would be a part of a family, and they would have a decently high income, and also they would be very involved with the community and be going to yoga studios and book clubs.
So in order to reach our main customer segment, we'll be using several different marketing tactics. Our first marketing tactic is Instagram. We will be using this to acquire artwork from anyone who wants to submit that. We'll have a link in our bio where that'll lead us straight to our landing page where whoever clicks it can read about our company, and if so desired, they can buy our product from there with the hyperlink to Teespring. And our next marketing tactic is Facebook, which 30 to 40-year-old women use on a daily, and so therefore we're trying to create a page where we can post on blogs where 30 to 40-year-olds frequently visit. And for our third marketing tactic, we'll be using Schoology. Schoology is used for messaging through teachers and students in our school. So we'll have our teachers send out our link to our landing page, attached to a survey to see who's interested and who's not. And therefore, that will gain more knowledge of our company overall, and also functions by submitting their artwork to our page.
And for our fourth and final marketing plan is we are planning on creating a poster, and we are buying a bulk of 50 for $2.99 each, which will come out to around $150. And we'll be putting them all around the Barrington local area where maybe 30 or 40-year-old moms will visit most often, or just anyone will go to. So here are two of our competitors. One of them is Because of a Case, and Because of a Case is a little bit different than us. They support more animal-based rather than people-based. We are different from them because they aren't as local as we are. They're kind of just all around, and they're obviously supporting a different cause. We have Zazzle here, and Zazzle, obviously you can tell, is their website isn't very appealing. We're going to try to change that by making our website as appealing as possible, where people want to go to and want to go through our things. And also, for Zazzle, they have people create the phone case and the art, which is very similar to us, which possibly we're going to change by having it also more local than they are.
So we are going to be testing this out to see that if our Dropbox is efficient, if people think that our Dropbox is the best way to submit their art by sending it out through email. We're going to utilize email to send out our Dropbox link to people of our high school and people in our community, because we want personal stories that people in our local community to connect to. And if you know someone in your community suffering, you're more likely to buy it because you have that instant connection.
And this is Teespring, back to the website that we will be customly making, and they will manufacture and ship our products directly to the customer, who will be buying the cases off the website. And on Teespring, the cases will be going for $33. And from each of those cases, we will be making $20.01. And from that, we will be donating $10, which will leave us with a gross margin of $10.01.
We will be using Google Analytics when we send out these emails to track how many people click on the link, their background of who clicks on the link, and who buys our case, because we want to get that first-hand data through our MVP to see if the people in our local community want to donate or want to submit their artwork, so we can get a feel for who's involved, and to also see who is buying our cases, because we want to see who feels that instant connection and who feels like they feel that personal connection to the case, because in the end our ultimate goal is to fund these cancer organizations and to ensure that kids like Johnny and families in likewise situations have the funding they need to survive and have the surgery.
So all in all, we are asking for $200 to cover web development costs and also marketing tactics, which was the flyers, and they're 99 cents per, and we're looking to buy 50 to put around the local area, so we're asking for $200 overall.
And we're asking for web development. We're going to be utilizing Adobe to build up our website. As you saw with our competitors, their websites weren't that appealing. We want to make sure that our website's appealing, that our website's easy to use, because our ultimate goal, fundraising and donating to these organizations, is not an easy process. It's a very complicated process. And a phone case is something, look around, the amount of people that have a phone, we all have phones these days, so everyone needs a phone case. We are connecting something that people utilize in everyday life with fundraising to make it more easy for people and to ensure that these kids can get the funding they need to provide the surgeries. In all, we are hoping you will invest in us, because we believe that together we can make these kids survive this harsh illness. Together, through fundraising through this everyday object, we can ensure that these kids have the chance to live just like Johnny was given the opportunity to. Thank you.
I want to make sure I understand that this, first of all, it's a really good idea, and it's well presented. With the exception of, I'm not sure I understand exactly how it's going to work. So the very first question is, who submits the art? Is it Johnny's mom in this case, or Johnny's family? the cause submits the art?
So what we're trying to do is through our, let me get to the slide, through our, where is it? I'm sorry, through our submit artwork link, what we're trying to do is get people in our local community to submit their art and submit their stories. There's a lot of people in our local community that have faced cancer, had family members faced with cancer, and we want to get those local personal stories.
Okay,
from
so
our
it's
community members.
it's the ultimate person that's gonna be receiving the money, it's some art that represents them. Okay,
Yes,
got that.
definitely.
And then the funding that is raised, the $10
Mm-hmm.
that's funded, does it go specifically to Johnny in this situation? Or the Johnny, I mean, like, or Mary, or any, it goes like to one kid? Or does it go to the cause, like children's brain cancer?
It goes to the cause and the charity because, as we explained, thank you for asking this, but as we explained, we are trying to donate to the organizations because it's been a widespread problem that donating has been too complicated, especially in everyone's busy day life. We understand that people get wrapped up in things. So to ensure that people can make this an easy, efficient process, we are going to be, when people buy a case, it costs $33, and that $10 that we get out of that is going to be donated directly to the cancer organization that we choose.
Have you done any market research on, or did your interviews, your customer interviews, that if there was a picture of a child with brain cancer, that's local in the community, and that artwork of that child is on their phone, that is something that people would pay $33 for and would keep for a long period of time? Or are they going to change that out often? Is it just in the moment they feel it and then they're going to?
When we did, we sent out a survey, and when we did our customer interviews, we found that on average, I think it was 95%, 95% of everyone we tested said they would spend about $20 to $30 in our phone, between phone cases when they bought a phone case. The reason ours is a little above that margin because we had a question that said, would you be more willing to buy the phone case if it went to charity, or pay more for the phone case if it went to charity? And everyone, for an exception of one, said yes. When we're doing customer interviews, obviously, if we ask, if someone has cancer and we're fundraising for them, are you more likely to pay more? Like, people would be pretty scared to say no, but.
I'm trying to understand what the value of the artwork is, because while someone says, yes, of course, I'm a good person, I would pay a little more if that donation was going to a charity. But then now I have to walk around on the device that I use every second of my life with a picture on it that I may or may not like. So, I mean, do you really even need the artwork? What's the value of the art, having the artwork and going through all that?
Well,
Because are people buying the artwork, or are they buying the cause, paying for donating to the cause?
so what we're they're buying the phone case with the artwork on it,
Right.
and what they're getting from that is kind of showing having people where'd you get that? That's kind of neat. They can express the person's story and kind of pass on the story where other people can go to that story or help out to as much as they can.
Maybe it's just the lack of definition of what artwork means. I don't know, do you have any samples of when you say artwork, is it a photograph that somebody's going to submit?
We did that
A mom's going to give her favorite picture of her child, because that's the hard part of it, or is a neighbor going to paint a beautiful abstract that's going to go on the phone? I'm just trying to understand what's going to cause the most, what will drive the most sales.
We did that on purpose because initially we were trying to pair with hospitals and we tried to pair with organizations to get direct art from kids. And like you said, if people may or may not like the art, what we want to do is keep it open for interpretation by the artist, whether they want to submit a drawing, a painting, a photograph, or if they're a photographer, something more abstract, we wanted that to be open for interpretation so they can represent their own story in the way they see fit. And our goal with that is that when we were trying to target kids, the artwork wasn't going to be as presentable.
So what's your MVP actually testing?
Our MVP is testing, first of all,
The artwork, or is it testing the desire to buy a phone to donate a portion of the phone sales to a cause? Which one? That's what I'm trying to get at, is because I think that makes a big difference in what you're going to find out at the end.
we're trying to test because honestly, I'm sorry. Because honestly, from what we've done so far, it's without our MVP, it's hard to test the artwork. We're trying to test the artwork, and the artwork, whether people actually submit that, coincides with the rest of our business. If we don't have artwork, then we're obviously can't put the artwork on cases. So first and foremost, with our MVP, we're trying to test the artwork to ensure that we can get art and that people feel driven to submit their art and to share their story out with the entire
What if
community.
you did something like, you know, you have your health, you know, say brain cancer for
Mhm.
children, that logo. Every case has got the logo of the cause itself in that you design, a cute little, take their logo, put it in a heart, put it in a corner of the phone and just sell those.
Mhm.
And then you don't have to worry about, you could do artwork separately as another product line, but that way you're selling the
The beauty
cause.
of the model is actually what I would call micro giving versus macro giving. Micro meaning giving to Johnny, macro giving meaning giving to children's brain cancer.
Mhm.
Like, the photo of that, I think you're mixing it up. If you're putting Johnny's, something that represents Johnny, but I'm buying that artwork, but my money isn't going to Johnny, it's going to the big old cause where I don't know what the heck it's going in.
Yeah, it's misleading.
I kind of like the idea of you guys saying, hey, my neighbor's child has cancer, I want to help in some way, I'm going to do a
GoFundMe page for them.
a care case campaign. It's like a Kickstarter campaign, and it's going to be very, very specific to Johnny. And it's like the Live Strong, you know,
Yeah.
the deals that everyone's
Yeah.
born for $1 and donate to. So, if you're gonna do that artwork, and I think it should tie to this specific person. Now, there might be a bunch of stuff that, how charitable giving goes, and you'd have to set up a 501c3 and all that, or you'd have to give it to the American Cancer Society and say, this is restricted funds, it has to go to Johnny. I mean, there's a bunch of ways to work that out. But, so, I want you to think about that, with micro-giving. But the big thing on that would be, don't sell the case for 20, what's your cost?
$33.
Sell it for 23 and leave the giving wide open. We sell this case for $23. In addition to that, how much do you want to give to Johnny? Let somebody give $1, let somebody give $100. You might average, that the average case is $10 or $12, but I think it's kind of cool to say, to allow the donor to give as much as they want, as opposed to only bucketing it to a $10 contribution. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete agreement. It's, if you're gonna market the kid, Johnny, then the money should go to Johnny, use a GoFundMe page and collaborate. Or if you're gonna support a cause and be clear about what it is. And I think you're right on.
Yeah, because what's gonna happen is, and then and so for your MVP, what I would do is find one family in need that's going through this deal locally. Approach them and say, we'd like to do a fundraising campaign. Here's how we're gonna do it.
We're gonna sell phone
You
cases.
gotta give us a picture, and we're gonna promote it, and just let us go to town on it. No promises, I don't know if it'll make $100, I don't know if it'll make $100,000. Let us promote one child in Barrington, that's a family in need, and then you guys are the road warriors, and you're knocking it down, and you're selling these phones. And literally, MVP it, but just go get a bunch of white cases and take the photo and make it a sticker and slap it on there and sell them. Like, you know, do it very, very,
So what, the $200 you're asking for, in most of these, so it's for like Adobe for web development and doing, well, why do you need to do that? Yeah, why don't you just use, there's a lot of beautiful website templates. Why do you have to spend $200 on web development or whatever portion of it?
Just a little part of it is going to web development, not a large part at all. It's $9.99 a month for Adobe, and we wanted to do it for our tryout periods. We were going to do it for 3 months to have the rest be marketing costs.
But
The
you don't
reason-
need,
30
you can
seconds.
do that for free. You don't need that at all.
I would echo what Cara is suggesting, because it sounds like a lot of the cost is in it really doesn't relate to your business model. It relates to making something look pretty, and I think what I'm hearing from my colleagues here is it's more about the issue, it's more about the cost. The folder's going to be beautiful because it's the child who's in need. Whether it's done through Adobe or Google, I think it's or WordPress, right? Use the free stuff. They're free.
It's really not about the phone case,
No.
right? So don't freak out about it too much.
Yeah.
Michael, we got a
How much
decision?
did you need for flyers?
Well, they were $2.99 each, and we were buying like a bulk of 50, so around like 150.
Well, you know, you guys can also access Barrington High School's print shop, and I think they can give you a better price on that.
Okay.
$100 for?
What were you asking for, 200?
We were asked, wait, what was your question?
What was your total MVP?
200.
100.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're going to rethink the strategy. If you're going to rethink the strategy, it's a whole different budget.
Yeah.
I personally, although you guys have to be the ones that make this decision, I personally like building a campaign around one sick child in Barrington and trying to sell as many of these things as possible. And then most of your MVP money will go to getting the word out and buying phone cases. And then collecting money, and you'll pay us back easily. I mean, you'll collect the $20 and you'll buy these phone cases for whatever. And the way you control the cost of inventory is you have somebody pay you and you get their phone case to them within 48 hours and you literally go buy the phone case every order you get. Because you're gonna have to ask them what kind of phone they have. And you have to have a case of sizes. So I'd hate for you to have an inventory of cases because you guessed wrong on whether or not you're gonna have Android phones or iPhones.
Yeah.
But people will tolerate waiting for 24 to 48 hours to get their phone case and literally go buy it. When you get the order, oh, gotta run to go buy 3 more of them, and then go put a sticker on them and sell them and collect the money and build and have on your webpage, more importantly, how much you've raised for Johnny. This is about fundraising, it's not about the phone case. So they have a little thermometer that, you know, our goal is. It's like Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter and look at all their, or what is the other,
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe. I mean, just copy that and then apply that into your,
Do we have a number?
whatever you guys need. I mean, $200 is fine.
They don't need 200.
But I don't think you need it.
No, I'd say $100 is probably what you need.
Okay.
That's what I would
And
do.
it goes a different direction, you know, than what you were carving up for.
100?
Or if you do a new plan, come back.
Yeah, if you guys need it, we don't want to restrict you on the money.
Right.
Okay, we think you have a great idea. We're just challenging the approach a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, if you need to get more money, just tell Hogs and he can easily get in touch with us.
So 100 plus.
Yeah.
Depending.
Okay.
Open checkbook.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good job. Really good job.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.